Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Godzilla figure review. And today we are reviewing none other than the very first Godzilla, Godzilla 54. Okay, so while this may be the first Godzilla, it was not the first Godzilla that Bandai made. In fact, this first Godzilla 54 didn't come along until about 1999. So, let's, without further ado, take a look first at the tag. As you may have noticed, this is part of the another series of Godzilla figures called the Toho Kaiju series, which I'll get into that later, but for now it is noticed as this is the first version. This figure of course has been reissued about 2 other times and officially released. Well, okay, never mind. But this, as you can see on the front, is a green top and a green bottom. You got Toho Kaiju and Godzilla. And also Godzilla written in English for the Japanese impaired. And you got Godzilla's picture here in black and white. Got on the back the silver Godzilla sticker and the rest of other monsters that are in this series as well. And then you open it up on the inside and you got all the usual information with lots of different stuff. Okay, so now we got that out of the way and the tag is in the way. Okay. So, let's just take a look here, see what the paint does first. Well, paint is pretty normal for this Godzilla because, I mean, it's basically just black. Black with some white and gray highlights here and there. He's got a little white spot right there, and a little white on his head there. His spines are this sort of dirty white sort of color, kind of smoky color, I don't know. And it, of course, like a lot of Godzillas, they just kind of peter out the very tip there. Then on the knees, you've got white for some reason, and you've got white toes, but not white claws. Well, sort of white, tipped white anyway. So yeah, that is the color. Now let's take a look at the detail. So detail for this figure is pretty good, I must say. You got, first up here, you got little itty-bitty tiny spines, which aren't, I'll admit, very good, but once they get from onto the neck, they start growing bigger and bigger, and then smaller and smaller and smaller, and then they just kind of form a line, and are just kind of bumps from then on. But here on the tail, something interesting, these ridged, I don't know, things, grooves, I guess, in the tail, and they go all the way down to the tip. Now, it's hard to say exactly how spot on this figure is in the way of detail because the original Godzilla, from the movie at least, you couldn't see very much of it because it was black and white and it also took place at night, so you couldn't see it very well. And in fact, this is probably the clearest picture I've ever seen of it before, but so it's hard to say exactly how accurate this figure is or isn't, but I mean, you can definitely tell it's the original Godzilla. I mean, you just look at his profile and you can see that it is definitely Godzilla 54. I mean, there's just none other that looks like him. He's very unique. He's like a Showa Godzilla in that he's, you know, a guy in a suit, and it's obviously that, but it's different because it's just, I mean, it looks mean, you know? I mean, it's like he's totally got something on his mind. He's going to do something to you, you know? I mean, this thing is going to kill you if it comes up next to you. Not the other Godzillas with the big googly eyes and the big happy puppy face. This thing means business. I mean, just look at that face, man. I mean, come on. So that's why this is one of the coolest Godzillas, even though it's the first. And while the movie may be sort of slow-paced compared to some of the others, it's definitely very serious and very toned down in the way of being, you know, goofy or even lighthearted at all. Unlike some of the later Godzillas. So I definitely like the movie, and I definitely like the Godzilla, so this is definitely a good figure. Now, as for sizing comparison, there wasn't, as you know, any other monster in the first Godzilla movie. However, we can compare him in size to his later counterpart, Godzilla 68 here. As you can see, Godzilla 68 stands a little bit taller than this guy, which makes sense because as the years went on, Godzilla got a little bit bigger. The original one was, I forgot how tall exactly, 50 meters or something like that, 150, I don't know. But like I said, as the years went by, Godzilla slowly got bigger and bigger. So really, if you're an aficionado like I am, you'll see that this guy is actually in scale with the later self, which is kind of a paradox, but oh well. So, yeah, definitely a good figure. So he's a little short, as you can see, a little small compared to the others, but he is Godzilla 54, and it's not like he's going to stand much of a chance against any of the others. He may be able to, but that would be interesting to see. Anyway, so that's Godzilla 54. So that's Godzilla 54. An overall nice figure. He's a little small, a little short, like King Caesar. Not that small, by the way, but he's a good size. I mean, he's a little 6-inch Godzilla. I mean, how can you not like him? But I would definitely suggest getting this guy, because it is essential to any monster collection. Because whether or not you're a Godzilla fan, you do know Godzilla, especially this one, because it was the first one, and the one that spawned all the others. So, definitely an essential guy. This particular version, though, if you are a completist, then this is the Toho Kaiju version, which was the very first ever made. I'll get into variations and all those different things later on. I'm working on a video that will explain all that. But for now, there's this guy, there's the Movie Monster series, the remake Movie Monster series guy with the pink tag. There's one from the Memorial box, and I don't know how, there's one, Bandai Creation makes one. I don't know how many others are. I think that's pretty much about it. But anyway, this is Godzilla 54. I'm Creature Hunt Guy, and I'll see you next time.